How are you, my dear girls and boys? How are you today? Today we are going to discuss chapter 7 in story. Let's remember together what happened in the previous chapter. In the previous chapter, we knew a new character, Titus Carlos. Titus Carlos is a rich merchant who has a shop in Rome in which the finest olive oil are sold. And we heard a rumor about him. This rumor that Titus Carlos is a thief. He likes to steal the small and valuable things. Now let's move to chapter 7. The next afternoon, the children set off for the port of Ostia. Ostia was a long way from Rome, and it stood at the mouth of the river Tiber. The children decided to walk along the river bank to the port, and it was a hot afternoon, and the walk was long and tiring. The children here tried to find Titus' ship to find out the bronze bust. Okay? So the children talked about how to find Titus' ship once they got there, once they got to the port of Ostia. Camilla asked, how will we know which ship is his? Lucy suggested we could ask the local people. Mark said, or we could watch the ships and see which one Titus boards this evening. Rupert looked thoughtful. He is thinking he might not go to his ship tonight. I think the best plan is not to wait for Titus at all, but we should try to find his ship by them. What do we do if we find out that Titus is a thief? Asked Lucy. What we will do? Rupert said, I don't know at the moment, and we will have to wait and see what happens. The children walked on silently. Soon they reached the port of Ostia. It was a busy, noisy place. So let's describe the port of Ostia. It was a busy and noisy place, and it was a smelly place too. It smelled of fish. It smelled of olives and hot, sweaty people. Worst of all, it smelled of rotting fruit. What's the meaning of rotten? Rot means to slowly decay or cause to decay. Lucy said, yuck, and she wrinkled her nose, doing like that. She wrinkled her nose. It smells horrible here in the port of Ostia. Okay? Marx laughed at her. It's a very busy port, he said. Lots of goods are brought into Ostia from many different countries. Several ships were in the port. There were people everywhere. Porters, they are people who carry the goods, loading or unloading from the ship. Porters were busy loading and unloading cargo. Cargo is the goods that are being carried in a ship or plane. There were crates of wild animals from North Africa. This plastic box called crates of wild animals from North Africa. There were bundles. Bundles means group of things such as papers, sticks that are fastened or tied together. Bundles of silk from China. There were even elephant tusks like this from East Africa. Rupert and Lucy stared in amazement. They had never seen so many strange goods before. You can see here the cargoes pulled by the oxen. The children walked along the quay. There was so much to see. Rupert noticed that there were lots of barges along the quay. Each one was pulled by a team of oxen, as you can see here. Okay? They were just like the barge Thetis used. Rupert asked Marx, why are there so many barges? Marx explained that none of these ships can get up the river to Rome. Why? Because the river is too shallow. Too shallow. So barges take the goods into Rome and they are unloaded there. Lucy said, we must try and find Teta's ship. She was feeling anxious. She feels worried that they were wasting their time. Rupert looked along the quay. It seemed to be getting busier and noisier all the time. Rupert was sure that someone on the quay must know which ship belongs to Thetis. But who should he ask? Who should he ask? He put his hand above his eyes to shade them from the sun. Then he looked carefully at the people passing by. Suddenly, he spotted three porters carrying some heavy boxes from a ship. He said, let's ask them. Let's ask those porters, where is the ship of Thetis? He pointed to the porters. They are certain to know which is Thetis' ship. They work here. They will know who the owners of all these ships are. Mark said, that's an excellent idea. I will go and ask them. He went up to one of the men. Tell me which of these ships belongs to a merchant called Thetis. The porter here looked along the quayside. He pointed to the last ship at the end of the quay. That's the ship master, he said. The last ship on the quay is the one you want. It's Thetis' ship. Marx nodded his head. Thank you, he said. Rupert said, come on, let's take a closer look. The children here walked along the quay towards the ship, Thetis' ship. The ship looked quiet. It looked as if no one was on board. Lucy said, no one is here. Let's go on board and see what we can find. Camilla said, be careful. We don't want to get caught by Thetis. Camilla was frightened to be caught or to get caught by Thetis. The children crept up the gangplank. This is the gangplank. It's a board for walking on between boat and the shore, or between two boats. Okay? And step on to the deck. The ship rolled gently in the water. Rolled means moved round gently in the water. It creaked, make a loud voice. If something such as a door or a wooden floor, old bed or a stair creaks, means it makes a long high noise when someone open it or walk on it. Okay, as it moved, a heavy sail. I will show you the sail. Sail, it's a piece of material we put on the ship to control the wind. Okay, a heavy sail above their heads flapped noisily. Flapped means moved noisily in the wind. The sudden noise made Marx jump. What was that? He said. So Rupert patted him. Pat means touch him gently, reassuringly on the back. Don't worry, it's only the sound of the wind in the sail. It's nothing to be scared of. Marx here took a deep breath. He felt a little foolish. He didn't like looking scared in front of all the others. I wasn't really scared, he said boldly. I just thought I heard someone coming, that's all. Rupert here looked up and down the deck. Where do you think Titus would hide the things he had stolen? He asked. Lucy spotted a hatch. Hatch is a hole, a hole in a ship or aircraft, usually used for loading goods or the door that covered it. I bet Titus has hidden the bust in there. I wonder if he has, Rupert said. He lifted the hatch door and peered into the hold. It was dark and gloomy. Gloomy means dull. A rope ladder swung below him. I can't see anything, he said. Let's go down into the hold and have a look. This is the hatch. Okay. One by one, the children went down the rope ladder and into the hold. At one side, let's describe the hatch or the hold. At one side, there were some paddles. On the other side, there were lots of olive oil pots. The children looked behind the barrels. They looked behind the pots too, but they couldn't find the bronze bust anywhere. Suddenly, the ship rolled in the water, moved in the water. Then the children heard a loud thud. Thud, it's a very thick and loud voice. Lucy said, "What's that?" She felt worried. Mark said, "I think it's the anchor." The anchor, what is the meaning of anchor? A piece of heavy metal that is lowered to the bottom of the sea, lake, to prevent a ship or a boat moving. This is the sail, anchor. So this is the anchor. I think someone has raised the anchor. I think the ship is about to leave the port. What will happen? Just then, they heard someone climbing down the rope ladder into the hold, and they were in the hold. The children quickly hid behind some paddles and watched. They try to hide behind some barrels, and there is someone here in the hold. It was Titus. He walked over to a stack of olive oil pots. He looked into them and smiled. Then he got some rope and tied them together. And he said to himself, that will keep you nice and safe. He said aloud. He checked the ropes once more. He checked the ropes once more. Then he climbed up the ladder and disappeared. Here Lucy said, "We must get off the ship quickly. It's going to leave port any minute." The children ran to the rope ladder, but before they could climb up it, the hatch door banged shut. Then a heavy bolt. Bolt is a look, a metal bar that you slide across a door or window. It's like this. So a heavy bolt was pushed into place. Titus had looked the hatch and they were trapped. They were trapped there. Now we have finished this chapter 7, and thank you for watching.